Hi, this is Bob Weiss. I'm the host of Shaking Your World. Cheers. Folks, welcome home. Yet another episode of Flash in the Pan here at Shakers on the mighty Shaking Your World channel. So we have honored to have Jaclyn back in the house today, the
Hey
Cooking
guys.
with Blanc segment. And we're doing scallops 3 different ways. Now, to begin this process, the last scallop we're going to do is a Macau Style. Macau is an island off of mainland China. They have a significant Portuguese influence as the Portuguese circumnavigated the world. They picked up different cooking styles in different places, and they took that with them. So Macau is one of those stops, and you will certainly get the Asian influence taking place here with some other flavors which are endemic to Portugal. Now, to begin with this, we're going to take some of our Babalu's Piri Piri oil, which you can get here. And about an ounce of that. And again, we prefer not to measure things. We go by sight and feel. We also have this lovely mushroom soya, which is the Pearl River brand. And as opposed to a standard soy sauce, this has just got a lot of depth to it and a lot of flavor to it. And literally, it's fermented mushrooms that are really a large part of the Macau scene. So again, about equal parts with this. We're just about there right now. And I just want to get these flavors to kind of set up for a while, though we're not going to use this for a few minutes. If you don't have a whisk, you can use a fork. And for the moment, we're done with that. So now what we're going to do is have Jaclyn get to do some cutting. So we have 2 types of apple here. We have a Honey Crisp and a Red Delicious. And all I want you to do, not get that little nudge there, or that bigger nudge right there, or that other nudge, but work your way around this and give us something that's going to be about like that size. Okay. So for both of these. Perfect. While that's taking place, I'm going to get a little splash of water into the skillet. And again, by volume, I'd say I've got about 4 ounces here. So on induction, it's going to sit like that. And we've got some saffron right here. This is a beautiful Persian saffron. They say the most expensive spice in the world. And doesn't that just smell heady and delicious and earthy? It does that too. So each of these little tendrils are picked by hand from a crocus flower. Very pretty purple flowers. And we're just going to see what happens with that. So we're doing this, it's a maceration process. We're just bringing out as much flavor as we can from the saffron. You could do this without necessarily doing that as well. You can just put them onto the dish, but I like to have more depth of flavor. So again, in another skillet, we're going to take a little bit of Piri Piri. So Piri Piri, of course, found its way throughout South America. It's really big in Brazil. In fact, I can't think of a single Brazilian dish that is fried or marinated that doesn't have Piri Piri in it.
Really?
But honestly, the flavors also moved throughout all of South America and part of the islands, and Cuba being one of those islands where there is a bit of Piri Piri utilized as well. So that's going to be the basis for our scallop dish. And then I'm going to take some lovely cloves of garlic and smash them. And as we talked about before, as we smash the garlic, it has more flavor than if we were just to cut it first. If you cut it, it has a tendency to be bitter, but if you smash it first, it's going to be a little bit sweeter. Keep in mind that it's still garlic. So that in our Piri Piri. We need a little bit of cumin in there as well, because if there was a spice or seasoning that is endemic or indigenous, though nothing is really indigenous anymore, but is a standard cooking item in Cuba, it's going to be cumin, and then it's going to be paprika, Spanish paprika, because of course Cuba cuisine is really much more Spanish cuisine than it is anything else in the Caribbean. So while that's working right there, Jaclyn's going to take these apples and put them inside of that. You can use a little bench knife here if you like, it might be easier.
Oh.
And we got this on high for a few minutes. I'm going to back this down and just do a simmer. Now, of course, waiting for our saffron to really become something. You can see already that the coloration is working its way nicely throughout all the water.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Just water here.
Just water.
Delicious. You can really smell the paprika and cumin. A little bit of garlic. Goes well with the flavor of the apple.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
All right, so we've got some beautiful fresh scallops in today. And these are wild-caught scallops. So what I want to do is to take off the abductor muscle. And sometimes you go to a restaurant and the scallops are great until you get to one part of it that's kind of tough and chewy. And that's the abductor muscle, which holds the shells together. So if we had, for example, if this was the shell of a scallop or something of this size, you'd have a shell that is at least that large. So think about how long it takes to grow to that size, probably about 4 years.
Wow.
So let's make sure they're all clean. Now, all we use at Shakers are something called dry pack scallops. That means they don't fill them with water, and they don't also expose them to one of the polysorbates that has a tendency to fatten the scallops. You're buying really water weight. You don't want the water weight. You want to taste actually just the protein that's the scallop, right?
Am I doing this right?
You're doing that great with just one little piece like that.
One little piece.
And sometimes not all of them have that.
Yeah. I don't even know if this has it.
That's okay.
Perfect.
Perfect. So now that we've got this saffron pretty well moved down here, I'm going to take some rice, just a simple white rice that we pared off earlier. And that's going to go inside of it. And in a moment, Jaclyn will be responsible for moving this around.
Clean my hands.
And the saffron has different amounts of potency to it. So sometimes you might decide you want to have a little more saffron in here. I think this is one of those times.
There. All right.
But just kind of keep that in motion, stir it around. And just because we get a little bit more in here.
Why not?
Why not? It's here. We should use it, right? Just going to back this way down. And then in a separate pan, get a little more piri-piri going. And get it up to high. Just kind of keep that moving around a little bit. Now you could cook scallops all day long without any oil or any type of fat whatsoever, and they're going to be white because it's the fat really that is going to be adding the coloration of things as well as the deep flavors. So you got piri-piri oil, so it's a combination of the piri-piri and the butter, and that's going to help these to caramelize.
Yum.
Yum. The flavors are going to be incredible, and I can tell that because the smells right now are really pungent. They're really lovely.
Definitely.
So we had nice absorption taking place with the rice and the fluid that was here. Might want to get just a little drop more of water into there. So let's say another
agreed.
ounce or two. Maybe step on you.
Oh, you're good.
Turn this heat down as well.
All right.
So we're breaking really nicely here. So we're hot. We're going to get just a touch more temperature. Sizzle. Now the scallops. So I put them on, I like to move around a little bit just to kind of, introduce them to the fat. I prefer to cook these scallops so that they're medium to medium rare on the center. I'm looking for harder sear on the exterior. So this will just take a couple of minutes. Maybe a touch more speed there. Sometimes you get rice that's just this really dark yellow complexion. And that's often because they're not just using saffron, they're using a safflower, or they're using yellow dye number 2 or something, whatever, something in there to accelerate the colors. So a couple options here for this. What I'd like to do is just to take this and do a simple center. I don't want to get a hard form or anything, but we can take a little ramekin. If you happen to have one, that's great. If you don't, you can go without it as well. But I do want you at some point, not quite yet, to take that, and we're going to fill this with it and stick it right there.
Okay.
But before we do that, just a little bit of salt and a touch of pepper.
Beautiful.
And then, Jaclyn, I think these are ready to turn. You have two options. You can use this, but you have to make sure you get low enough so you don't tear them. Or you can use your fish turner as well. Always have your handle on the pan.
Or a fish turner.
Just get in there and show them who's boss.
There
Lovely.
You go. I will, Bob.
Not a doubt in my mind, Jaclyn.
They look beautiful. All right. Gorgeous. Okay. I think we're about ready with the rice.
I think we're about ready with the rice.
Okay. Should I really pack it in?
Yeah, why not? Now, if you had a rice that's not quite as moist as this, you want to take some oil first and put that on the inside.
Yeah.
That'll help to free that up.
Whew. Hot. Okay.
Cool. So you go to Puerto Rico or something, and everything is these hard-formed little mounds, which is cool. But I think that the other side of that is that sometimes it just looks too formulaic. So here we are with this. I think these guys are ready to rock and roll.
Awesome.
So at this point, you can just take them and we do a 5-point system, little pentagon-y kind of thing.
Okay.
So you pick them up, just give them a little shake. And what I like to do is I like to turn them over to see which side I want to present.
Oh, okay.
So
both beautiful.
Both look good.
A little shake. Yeah, I like this side.
Good spatial concept. Good.
Yep. I'm trying, Bob.
You're doing great.
Both look gorgeous. I like this side. All right.
Now let's get some of the Cuban apples in here. So the cumin is just going to be extraordinary on this. So if you want, you can take several of these slices and put them in between each one.
Okay.
I probably suggest that we don't want to overwork the pan or plate rather by having too much apples. So I might.
I'm just loving these apples.
Yeah, well.
Here, what I'll do is, how about this?
Cool.
Get a little bit of, there we are.
Now this looks really meek and mild and bland by comparison to some dishes that we do at Shakers, but the flavors are going to be so incredible. They're big, they're bold, they're wonderful. In fact, at this point, if you like, why don't you grab a fork and a knife and taste one?
Okay.
It looks like a spoon to me, but here, how about the other fork? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. Look at that. Perfect.
Yum.
It tastes phenomenal.
Just like Mama used to make, right?
The crispy little outer, wow. Kind of buttery.
Kind of buttery. Well,
Soft, just with that little crispy outer shell. I love it. Great flavor. The piri-piri is awesome.
thank you.
Awesome.
So you get the drive of the pepper oil.
Yeah.
That's really what a piri-piri is, along with the combination of the sweetness of the apple. And once you get into that saffron rice, that should just be dynamic.
Oh, wow. That's such a different way to taste an apple.
There you go.
You have the end of it tastes sweet of the apple, but the initial on the tongue is the cumin. That kind of smoky, earthier flavor. Saffron. Wow. The rice is delicious too.
Underutilized in so many ways. Cool. All right.
Amazing.
We're going to put our apples on the side over here. I'm going to kick these things into our bus pan.
Okay.
But the entire process just took moments, right?
Yeah.
So we can put that on the side somewhere out of the way.
All right.
And set up, we'll do the Italian style or Mediterranean style next.
That's what's great about scallops is they take minutes to cook.
Minutes to cook. All right, a little blast of olive oil in the pan, please.
Is that good?
Cool, that's good.
All right.
And take a couple of garlic cloves and smash those and toss those in there as well.
Okay. A little bit of a finer chop. Is that
Why
good?
not?
Okay. All right. Okay.
Now, that's going to be the scallops. We got a little butter in there, so just like a forkful,
Sure.
little tablespoon might be good. Over here, in this skillet, I'm going to take just a little bit of olive oil. And we have this slurry made up. So we take fresh basil and we process that down. Very simple.
Wow.
A little bit of garlic, a little oregano, extra virgin olive oil, of course.
Love it.
So about that amount, which could be maybe 2.5
Smells
ounces, 3
fantastic.
ounces. Thank you, thank you.
Fresh basil. Fresh basil. And you said there's oregano in here too, Bob?
Mm-hmm, yes.
The smell is fantastic.
All right, so we have fettuccine
Kinda
that we
nutty.
cooked off earlier today.
Cool.
Just gonna move that in. Give you a fun tong, just gonna move that around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this mixture right here and pour it into there. I don't want the garlic to burn,
Okay.
so this will
Yeah.
slow it down a little bit.
Smart.
So just back to here.
Wow, that smells good. Nothing like basil and garlic.
There you go. So in our hot pan, combination of butter and olive oil. And then we're going to take this on the side for instance, get ourselves some more scallops.
Toss this again a little bit.
Guess what you get to do? How about pull those apart?
All
Slow
right.
this pan down so you don't burn.
Should we slow this one down too?
Sure, you can just kind of put that guy right down there. And magic tells you to put it off the side so it's not directly on the burner.
Sure.
Cool. And then you can take off the abductors.
All right. This guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're easy to take off.
They are because they're fresh.
Did you get the rest of them?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Okay. Ma'am.
All right.
Scallops in the pan.
Give them a little shake.
Was there a reason why people do salt and pepper first?
Oh, no, not first, but they will. I prefer to do any of the seafood. I like to do salt and pepper really on the backside. So this is oregano because it is
Cool.
Mediterranean style. I want to really push that flavor.
Cool.
Yep, that's what they say.
Cool. Looking good. What do you say, like a couple minutes on the scallops
Just
only?
a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
That's all it takes. The entire process, everything's gonna be quick. We're gonna put these in a shallow bowl. So our pasta's gonna be nesting here, and these will just be stewed on top.
Sure. Wash my hands quick. Bob, where do you buy your scallops?
All of our seafood comes from the seafood merchants in Chicago, and it's a great relationship. We've had them for probably 30 years.
Wow, love it.
But we get products that are not typically in the marketplace, and they're great for me as a broker as well because
Yeah.
they can be things that you can't get in Milwaukee. And,
Sure.
Literally, we get something that is harvested on Monday and delivered to us on Tuesday, so we have just a great relationship with them.
Fantastic. Cool.
All right, so
Yeah.
as we're doing Mediterranean style, we got some basil in there. I want to get a little bit of our basil slurry going on here too. But I do this on the backside because I don't want to overwhelm the scallops. Scallops are such a delicate thing. Whatever you think.
All right. They look pretty good to me, Bob.
So I know, well, let's
How should we play-
first as a nest.
Ah, okay.
So you spent time in Europe. Have you spent a lot of time in Italy?
I have never been to Italy. I was going to go this year. I had,
2020, what a fun year it's been.
yeah. How much should we do?
Let's do a little more.
A little more? Okay.
And even a little more.
All right. I mean, why not? It's 2020.
We're here, it's all good.
Yeah, I was going to go all over, north and south. And unfortunately, that fell through. So to answer your question, no, I've never been to Italy. Love to go, though. Can I borrow this just to... All right. Do you have a favorite part of Italy? Excuse my reach.
I don't. Venice is a animal unto itself.
Yeah. Should I do on the periphery?
You can, yes.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to do is take some Roma tomatoes. I just cut these into discs, little circles. I'm going to toss those in there for just an instant.
Cool. Gorgeous.
Well, it's the Christmas season, so a little red and green going on. Now, they take really no time at all to cook.
Yeah.
I just want to get a little flavor going there.
Yeah.
And al dente is really what I'm looking for anyway, because I like texture in foods, like texture in everything. So if you'd be so kind, you can put those in between the scallops.
Okay. Kind of like that.
Kind of like that. So if you had your druthers as to where to go, where would you go? In Italy.
In Italy, I would choose Tuscany, probably first, for very obvious reasons. The wine, wine and food. Would love to go to Positano and kind of explore the Amalfi Coast. And I'd actually love to hike in the Dolomites.
Why not?
Yeah.
So what I've taken is the residual moisture that we had here, which is a combination of the butter, the olive oil, the basil slurry, of course, and whatever juice came off the tomatoes, and that just to add to that, so it's not gooey, it's not drippy, it's not wet, but it just gives it more vibrancy. So, time to taste.
That's awesome.
So this is why you come to these things.
Oh my goodness. That is a good scallop. Just a hint of basil. You really taste the actual scallop. It's light, it's refreshing, cooked perfectly. Really.
Yes, you did a great job with those.
Thanks, Bob.
So, after you asked about
great.
salt and pepper, if we had determined that they needed something, this would be the
Sure.
time of the backside, but I think that they're probably pretty righteous the way they are.
They are.
Again, I'm trying to just drive natural flavors, and I think that there's an over-reliance on salt as well in our culture.
I completely
that, a lot
agree.
of things are
I didn't
salt.
even really think about it. A little bit I think is great, but it didn't need it.
Sure.
The freshness of the tomato was fantastic with the pasta, you know, and having a really light meat, not to call scallop a meat, but you know what I mean, combined with the heavier pasta, I think is a really good kind of balance to a dish.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right. With that,
So good. Why not?
yeah.
Good.
Someone might send some home with you. All right, so the next dish up is going to be Macau Madness Scallop. So a traditional style of food stuff that you would get in Macau off of mainland China with this interesting little spin to it. So again, we've taken, as we worked on this before, we took our piri piri oil, the Portuguese pepper oil, with some mushroom soya, married those together, and have a small amount of heat on the bottom, just warm.
Ooh, yeah. Ooh.
So we're going to take 3 of these, get our abductors off. That's good. That's good.
And where you go? Thank you.
And right in there.
There you go.
So toss these around, and just toss them around. It feels so good, too. doesn't it?
Wow, it does.
It's like a lotion.
Slippery.
Yep, there we go. So we're not going to use any additional oils or butters because they're marinating in that solution, so that can just get placed right there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And we are not going to do a starch with this. If I were to do a starch, it probably would be a type of a rice. It might have a tendency to go towards either a jasmine rice, which is indigenous to the area, or maybe even a basmati rice. But
Okay.
this will be fine just the way this is.
All right. Wash my hands.
This is a serrano
Ooh.
chili pepper, which is not indigenous to the area at all. But we don't have any bird chilies, Thai style, which I typically would use on this. So this is going to be part of the garni that's going to go on this. We have here a wakame, and wakame is basically 6 types of seaweed that are sliced, and they're tossed off with sesame oil and just a little bit of chili flake, and it looks and smells just like that. So what we're going to do is take a plate. This could be a simple appetizer. So fork works well for this. So just kind of fluff this up a little bit. Not to be confused with the fluffers upstairs in the brothel. Just fluff this up. And Jaclyn, I want you to put that right in the center. So give me a little mound.
Okay.
But again, keep in mind that these are only so big, so you don't exceed that too much. There you go. Looks like a mound to me. Yeah,
Perfect.
great technique.
Beautiful.
Marvelous.
Great technique.
So since we don't have the a butter or other oil going on here, these are going to be a little bit sticky,
Yeah.
right? So have at it.
Okay.
Just prise them up, or you can use your fish turner.
You just gotta work with them a little. There we are. Oops. A little bit.
Lovely. They're almost done. It's that quick.
That
You
easy.
Flash in the pan. It's that quick. So you have guests coming over, wham bam, you're done.
Cool.
You can make your own wakame, and frankly, we used to. We don't anymore. We just don't have time for it. But sourcing the seaweed is not as easy today as it was 20 years ago, as bizarre as it sounds. But again, during the COVID time, a lot of things just aren't in the distribution chain.
Sure.
So I think you're pretty much there. So I'm going to turn that off. And obviously, just 3 of them.
Okay.
And to have a little fun, since we're here, we're going to do a traditional French style as well with a Beurre Blanc. It's going to be a citrus Beurre Blanc. And this is something that we typically would use our Luscious lime sauce for, but I'll show you how to make this just from scratch. So, it's that time again. The
We
taste
add a
test,
little bit of
Jaclyn.
the thing.
Yeah, you could just a little garni on the plate kind of a thing, sorry.
Cool.
So there are some people that like things a little more spice forward.
Okay.
You don't have to use those. But again, no salt and pepper because there's so much salt that goes along with the soy, mushroom soya, and there's no need to add any salt here at all. Oh, there's a flavor
Wow.
explosion, isn't there?
The mushroom soy. It tastes phenomenal. It's so earthy, kind of that umami flavor profile.
Mm-hmm.
And the scallop is so kind of soft and buttery that it pairs well with something crunchy and cooler.
Kind
Yeah.
of fluffy in a way.
Yep.
Yeah. Contrast is
fluffy.
everything.
That's really good.
Nice.
That's really good.
So it's going to be hard to decide amongst these 3 which you like the best.
I know, I have no idea.
Cool. So, one more skillet, please. Jack, would you mind grabbing one?
Yeah.
Anyone is fine. Not that one. No, it's fine. Let's stick it on.
Oh, Bob.
All right, so some heat. And butter, because we're doing French, we want more butter. Butter. Buttery Frenchy. Then I'm going to take these guys. So anytime you're working with citrus, any kind at all, I like to roll the fruit first because it helps to ease the membranes and gives you more juice.
All right.
So we're just going to cut these in half. I'm going to use everything that's here. Let's get in there. And how about one more skillet? Why not? We got
Sure.
things to play with here.
Excuse me.
Perfect. Come on. So for this, people see that this is concave and you would think that you put it in this way, but the reality is you put it in this way. So when this part comes down, it squishes into it. So, ma'am, if you don't mind, let's get 4
Yep.
lime halves into there.
All into the one on the left.
All into the one on the left.
Ugh.
Come on, you work out.
Pre-COVID, I did.
These are incredibly fresh limes. That's not always the case. And by the way,
it smells great.
if your limes are a little bit brown or something, still use them. I mean, I think it's a travesty that we throw out as much fruit as we do in this country because it's not perfect, but the flavor is what we're looking for.
Oh yeah, we're going down. Oh yeah. It smells great.
So in the meantime, I'm going to take a little bit of our butter that's melted. It's going to go into there as well.
Makes sense.
Because we're making a sauce with this. Turn our temperature down as well.
I'll be honest, I don't cook enough with lime, like cook. I usually add it to just like a cold drink,
Sure.
you know? So it's kind of refreshing to smell that.
Cold drinks, yeah.
No, I like when limes are cooked. It smells good.
Look good, smell good, taste good.
It's a beautiful thing. All right, here we go.
Coolio. Then we're going to take some heavy cream. Heavy cream is right in front of us here,
As the French do.
as the French do. Sure. Now, what I always tell people is smell it, no matter when you got it or where you got it from. Always just give it a whiff and make sure it's fresh.
Smells good.
There you go. About an ounce to start with. And then I'll grab a simple whisk from back here. Whisk.
Oh.
And to maintain really the Beurre Blanc, you probably want to use a white sugar, but I'm really stuck on this sugar. This is a coconut palm sugar.
Ooh.
And has a very low glycemic value as well. Anytime you sugar for something, I like to put a little salt in there just to... Maybe enough. Maybe not. Maybe a little more.
Beurre Blanc mean?
Hmm?
Does Beurre Blanc mean?
Beurre Blanc is a French term, and it's a white blanc, white butter Beurre Blanc. So generally it's a white sauce, and they typically are not flavored this way. But we've been doing this for 25 years. When we came out with the line of the Babalu's Luscious lime sauce, and it's incredibly versatile, but it really shines in things like this.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right.
What we're going to do is put that actually flat on the pan and turn the temperature down and let it reduce a little more.
All right.
So back to this guy. So flame on. Flame, you know. And the scallops, so abductors off. And anything else you want to put in here, for God's sakes. I mean, you can really enhance this with all sorts of veggies and
good,
really cool things. And I'm glad to see you're doing it that way, because if you put them all in at the same time, they're going to cook consistently, whereas some people just have the tendency, oh, I've done one, I'll put them in.
No. These are actually, I'm not even seeing the...
That's good, that's good.
And I think I've got a pretty good eye for it by now. Is this a... No, that's just part of it.
Well, maybe it's a little part of it, of the abductor. Yeah, well...
You're the expert, Bob. There we go. Okay. All right.
So I'm going to slide you to the right.
Okay. Are we good?
Yep, we are good.
Going in.
So you can stir like this all day long and you have just a real nice little motility rate going on, but what anybody would teach you in the culinary world is to do these little figure eight type things. You get more motion and you get more air that's moved into something and you enhance the flavor. But the reality is, they both work.
I'm excited about this sauce.
Mm-hmm. So at this point that we could thicken up a little bit by putting more sugar in here, or we can just cook it down a little bit. Now there's a variation on this that we use quite a bit, which includes sun-dried tomatoes and vanilla, that we call a dream sauce, which is just phenomenal. One of my old sous chefs, happens to be a babe, created Michelle back in the, I think, mid-'80s, and it was a wonderful dish that just took me by surprise. And of course, vanilla is one of those purported aphrodisiacs. These are ready to turn.
Cool.
Actually, I'm going to turn the heat off as well.
Beautiful.
Nice. So heat's off, and they're just going to finish up right there.
Cool.
And this looks pretty much where we want it to be. Like that. Now we can enhance the flavor by taking a fresh lime, like this one, and we can use a knife or a zest or anything else and just get a little bit of the rind off of here.
Cool.
And we can do tendrils on there, which is a nice presentation, or we can just even cut this a little further, making them to a diced. It really doesn't matter. Either way is fine.
Lovely.
So what I'm going to do is put some of this.
Good.
It's good. Some of this is going to go in our sauce, and some we're just going to sprinkle on top.
Okay.
So this has really come together nicely. It's tightened up.
Oh yeah.
You want your sauce to be tight. you often see things that are just real loose and gloopy and gloppy, and it's unappealing. So, what are you going to do with this? This is it. This is it, right?
This is it. All right. Beautiful. All right.
Ma'am?
Yes.
Sauce away. So this would be great, like field greens underneath this, just something incredibly simple and fresh and refreshing. And if you did that, you'd have a little more sauce on the perimeter as well to offset just the greens. This is such a yummy sauce. You may want more.
Oh yeah. Wow.
And it's the simple things like this too. I see so many people cook that they'll just try to keep scraping for the pan, but if you tilt the pan, you get so much more.
Life is easier.
Life, so many things are easier if you just free your mind. All right, what time is it? Oh yeah, it's tasting time.
Tasting time. Thank you, Bob.
Mm-hmm.
Get a lot of that sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh my God. The sauce is incredible.
Cool, thank you. All these things incredibly fast, incredibly easy, basically 1 or 2 pans, that's all you got going on. You can do this at home for your family, for friends, people you love. Obviously, this is a real nice date dish to make for someone. Any of these are. Again, simple, easy, don't overthink things, just get into it and have fun. I thank you very much for your time. We hope you continue to watch our series. Any emails, please send my way at shakersmilwaukee@gmail.com. Jaclyn will have you back tomorrow for an interview, actually. What fun that's going to be. No cooking, but we will feed you afterwards. So if you have a favorite of these 4 things?
Oh my God. I would say... I don't even know. That's my favorite sauce. The third with that mushroom flavor, and then with the offset of the seaweed was fantastic. But the first 2 were fantastic. I love them all. Seriously.
Cool. Thank you.
You can't go wrong.
Cellophane noodles will go great with that. You could use, again, jasmine rice or basmati rice or anything if you want to have a starch. Just free your mind and just start playing with things. And they're very cost effective. They're very quick. Thanks, pal.
Thank you.
Always my pleasure. Cheers.
Bye, guys.